Good morning, everyone. My name is David Stevens. I work with the UN Secretariat in a small office called Office for Outer Space Affairs. I always say we're the smallest office with the biggest mandate because we take care of space. I wanted to focus today on basically the question we all have: how can we repeat Haiti for every single disaster that comes? So how can we ensure access to space-based information for every single disaster to the same level that we were able to access it for Haiti? There's been an incredible increase in the amount of information available. Either direct access through existing mechanisms, the charter has been there since 2001, Sentinel Asia 2006, the SAFER project, you got private companies coming in with services. But how do we ensure that every country can actually use this to their benefit? If you go to the booklet we've just published, JBGIS, there's an example of the Wenchuan earthquake, where China basically accessed 1,300 images, 40 volunteers, and did all the work. How can we ensure that every single disaster is able to receive value-added products, get available expertise, build upon the local expertise knowledge, and we are actually supporting directly the end user. In the UN, we have a program. It's the UN Spider program. I'm sure you've all heard about it. Our mandate is exactly that, to ensure that every single country can access space-based information for risk reduction, but also for emergency response. Not only remote sensing, but also satellite communication and also global navigation satellite systems. So when the whole mandate of SPIDER is actually focusing on anything which is space-based, all the technologies which are space-based. We have one mission statement. We have to ensure that every single country, every single member state, 192 member states, actually are able to use, access and use space-based information. How do we do that? First thing, we have a network. I mean, the team itself is spread out in 3 offices, Vienna, Bonn, and Beijing. We have focal points. We work with every single country focal points. We've got 41 nominated focal points. But more importantly, we actually have a network of regional support offices. Right now, we've got 9 regional support offices established globally, and we've got another 5 offers. So the biggest strength, perhaps, of SPIDER is exactly because we're focusing at the regional level, at the local level, working with these regional support offices. How do we coordinate our work? Well, for a very well-defined plan of work. In order to coordinate this big network, we actually have one plan of work which actually goes all the way to the General Assembly and very specific activities. One of the activities, technical advice support. Currently we have a target of focusing with 23 countries until the end of 2011. It builds continuity. I mean, you're building the country, you're identifying needs, you're identifying recommendations, and you're working with the country at institutions in the countries. We have the Space Aid Framework. Basically, for an emergency response, we set up a hotline. National focal points, UN organizations can phone in and make requests. Based on those requests, then we trigger existing mechanisms. As part of the framework, we involve partners. We also have a fund. Sometimes you just can't find the imagery you need available for free. You've got to go out and buy it. So far in 2010, we've provided support through Space Aid to 24 emergencies. Now, you've probably never seen a single map produced by us because we've never actually produced any single map. We're basically a facilitator. We know what the mechanisms are in place. We know who the end users are. We trigger. We triggered the charter within 2 hours of the earthquake, and then we facilitated the UN organizations and other organizations on the ground actually receive the data. So that was an example of Haiti. An example of Chile, we triggered the charter within 5 hours. We knew the Chilean institutions, we knew the capacity. It took us longer because we did try to get in touch with them. But same thing, we did trigger the mechanisms also for Chile. We have a knowledge portal, basically what we call a one-stop shop for information, but it's also a communication platform in the sense that for every response, for example, we have a page where we bring all the information together of what is available in terms of space-based information. We're building communities. Basically, we have, we're working in Africa, we're working in the Americas, we're working in the Pacific, we're working in Asia. We have 2 international workshops. And it's this community building which basically strengthens our work within each region. And because of that need to work within the communities is basically why we're here, is how can we build upon the crisis mapper community, and also how can we support the crisis mapper community. So to us, we weren't here last year, but our big question to us this year, our answer to us is how we're going to work together. I'll be here. I've got lots of material, and I'll be happy to talk to every single one of you in terms of strengthening our working relationship. Thank you.